Good morning. We are going to practice toward Dolphin Pose today. Let me make sure, yes. So we're going to practice toward, not towards downward facing dog, but something similar to downward dog. It's called Dolphin Pose. And is that Katie? I think that's Katie. So downward dog and dolphin pose are really similar in the shape and in the shape of the body, but you are practicing on your forearms. So dolphin pose can be a really good modification if your wrists are feeling like they just need a break during the practice, or if you are wanting to do a little bit more kind of like strengthening and stretching for the upper and mid back and chest. So let's start by taking a seat, and you can sit on a block. I think I might sit on my block with your knees or ankles, knees like this, or you can cross your ankles. I'm going to let you figure that out. Bring your right hand to the top of your right shoulder. Place your left hand to the floor, and then just side bend, keeping your left elbow straight. Lift your right elbow up to the ceiling and let your left ear drop. And while you're here, think about bringing this left side of the right side of the rib cage down a little bit. That way you can get a lot more stretch across the side of your back. And then rise back up. Lower your right hand to the mat, left hand to your top of your shoulder. As your right hand lands, lift your left elbow up. Slide the left side of your ribs, just kind of slide them down towards the top of your legs. And get a little bit of like a rounded, like a cat back around the left shoulder blade. And then rise back up. We'll do that one more time on each side. Bring your right hand to your shoulder. Side bend, lift your elbow. And then reach up as you extend your arm. Then bend your right arm, touch your shoulder again. And then rise up. Right hand to the mat, left hand to your shoulder. Lift your elbow, drop your right ear slightly, and then straighten your left elbow, straighten your wrist, and then bend your elbow, lower your hand to the shoulder as you rise back up. So hopefully it just gives you a little bit of space around where you need it for dolphin pose, just around the upper back, mid back, and a little bit around your shoulders and chest. Okay, now come to tabletop. And have a block. Actually, before we do that, bring your block with you and hold it in your hands. Hold the block between your palms, and then lift your block up to the ceiling, continuing to bring the front of your ribs down towards your legs. And then just bend your elbows. If your low back, if when you bend your elbows, your low back did this, notice that. And instead, bring your tail under a little bit and lift up through your forearms, your elbows, and then straighten. And we'll just do that one more time. Go ahead and bend your elbows. Slide the ribs back a little bit. Easy neck. I have to say that again a few times, just easy neck. And straighten your elbows, lower the block, and now come to tabletop. So just to get a little bit more of a stretch for the chest, reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Then lower your right hand to the mat. Lift your left hand up to the ceiling for a twist. And then lower your left hand to the mat. Now here's the fun stuff here. Go ahead and lower your right forearm to the mat. And then your left forearm to the mat. And right now the elbows are about underneath the shoulder. So if you were to touch your hands to the top of your shoulder like you did a moment ago, you would be able to do that just right there. And then you can bring your hands together. You can bring your palms together or you can clasp them. And then lower your head so that your ears are in between your biceps. And then lift your knees, walk your feet forward. So some of you, well, we'll see. But one thing that I do is you can bend your knees and then just gently push your forearms down into the mat to give you a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more height in your hips. And then lower your knees, come back to your hands. That's dolphin pose. So you might notice it's just like down dog. Down dog is, actually we'll do down dog. Bring your palms to the floor underneath your shoulders, maybe just a little bit wider. Then tuck your toes and then lift your knees into downward facing dog. And you can breathe here. You might feel a little bit of a stretch in your calves. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose, unless you're a little stuffy like I am. And then lower your knees. I'm going to take my socks off. It is a little bit easier without socks. Okay. And now I'm going to bring my blocks with me. And step your left foot forward. And come into a low lunge, reaching your arms up to the ceiling. And bring your hands to your heart. And keep your hands together as you lift your hands up to the ceiling. You might even look up to your hands. Look forward and then bend your elbows. And then straighten your elbows. Lower your hands to the blocks. Shift back a little bit for a hamstring stretch. And then shift back onto your left foot. And then once more, push the floor away through your left heel as you sit back. Bring your blocks into a taller setting. Step back. Step your right foot forward in between the blocks. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. Continue to slowly just move the ribs down. Bring your hands together, look up to your hands, and then look forward, bend your elbows. Push the forearms up to the ceiling. Keep that feeling as you straighten your elbows, lower your hands to the blocks. Walk the blocks back just a little bit, and then shift back as you straighten your right leg. My knee is slightly bent, as you can see, just slightly. And then I lower my foot back to the mat, shift forward, and then drive your right heel down and back as you send your hips back towards your left heel. And lower the right foot. Press into your blocks as you step back. A little bit of a toe stretch, your toes tucked under. And walk your hands forward. Lower your forearms to the mat. Clasp your hands. Tuck your toes. Push the floor away through your forearms as you lift your hips. Hopefully feel a little bit more space in the back of your legs, in the back of your shoulders. And you might lift your left foot, bend your left knee, and then send your left leg up to the ceiling. And then bend your left leg, bring your knee towards the right knee, lower your left foot to the floor. Switching sides, lift your right foot as you bend your right knee. Then send your right leg up. Then bend your right leg. Bring your knee forward. Set your right foot to the floor. Lower your knees and then take a seat. Thank you so much for practicing dolphin pose with me. We even did three-legged dolphin today. So I hope that felt really good in your body. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again next week at 7:30 CST on Monday for a live class.